Welcome to another AMA by PresaleWorld. I'm Ant. Today we'll be talking with Rabona Agency, which hopefully you're going to enjoy. But before we start, for all the newcomers here, we are in fact PresaleWorld, which is the easiest way to find the best pre-sales from across the market, from the biggest launch pads including Pixel, Unicrypt, Gempad, CookieSale, DXL, and of course from our very own launchpad here at PresaleWorld. We are the fastest growing launchpad, so be sure to check us out at presale.world, and hopefully it makes your gem hunting that much easier. But let's get straight back into the main event with Rabona Agency, and I'll see you there. To start with, like I say, I love the concept. We'll actually find out about the concept in a second, but it's always great just to hear about the team, really. So who are you guys? What are you about?
Yeah, for sure. So myself, I'm Joga. I'm the COO of Rabona Agency, and I've been in the crypto space since about 2017. I've always been passionate about football, and for over the last years, I have been working together with a bunch of crypto projects, helping them out with marketing, with connections in the space, with development, with strategies and such things. And finally, I've decided to team up with my core team members, and we decided to create our own project. The other core team members are the CEO, Vincent Sparenberg, the head of marketing, Aslan, also known as Gem Hunter. We have the head of scouting, which is Pete Fisher. He also has a team underneath him, uh, operating in various countries. And then we have our community manager, Aaron. And together we're trying to build or are aiming to build the first decentralized football agency. While we're building that, we're gonna share the revenues of our agency back with the community through the app.
Yeah, I absolutely love the concept. So we haven't spoke about it. Obviously, I've introduced Rabona, and if anyone's interested in football or soccer, depending on where you are in the world, um, like we said, that is basically what it is about. If you know what a football agency or an agent is in general, I think it's a really interesting concept. Actually, I think it's a great concept that I personally haven't seen before. And with the World Cup coming up, obviously, it's pretty good timing to kind of come up with this idea and join forces with all the people that you have. So give us, that's probably a terrible lowdown because obviously you guys have been working on this. So tell us about it. Give us a brief rundown of what the project actually aims to solve and what it's about, really.
Yeah, so just to clarify, we've seen many tokens coming up right now because of the World Cup hype, but we never intended to build this project just because of the World Cup hype, because we've been building this since March. And yeah, now it's the timing is perfect. Uh, Obviously, there's a lot of hype going on about the World Cup, and we think yeah, it lines up great for our marketing and for our strategy. So what we are or what we are building is a passionate crypto football community, and we are committed to turning talented football players into elite athletes and eventually world stars. So we are supporting professional football players through funding the resources needed to boost their careers. And through our DAO, we would want to aim to let our talented football players to get a chance to showcase their talents throughout our network, within our connections. And our objective is, of course, to get them contracted in the top leagues.
I think, like I say, I think it's a fantastic concept for those people that don't know. What is a DAO? What is, as an investor that is in the pre-sale, like they might look around Pink Sale every now and then, or whichever platform they look on. What do they expect out of a DAO?
So the utilities that we are going to provide through our DAO is voting for players that we do get on in our agency. We will let them do trials. We will have tournaments, organized tournaments, and through our DAO, our community members will be able to vote on players. They will also be able to propose ideas to the team and to the rest of the community. And then again, through voting systems, we will choose the best ideas and implement those in our business and in our community, in our events, and the strategies that we organize or the activities that we organize. Besides that, we will also streamline back the revenues of our organization back to the community members, and that will also be done through our D app. So it's through our DAO and through our D app that the community can give and earn back, and the earning will be done through staking. So to get part of the revenue from the agency, um, the community members will have to stake their tokens into the pools, and they will be able to earn Rabona token, NPMB, or BUSD based on the agency's earnings. Besides that, we will also perform buybacks from the commissions we get from the contract signings. So there's really multiple utilities that we are linking to the token and to our DAO.
That was going to be a follow-up question of mine, actually, and it's answered it for me personally. Is with the staking, is it going to be in Rabona or is it going to be BNB, USDT, whichever stablecoin you choose? Because like I say, that concept is interesting. Because how do you pay, or how do you intend to pay these? Pay/receive income from the whoever it might be, the club giving you the fee or whatever it might be? Is it going to be in crypto, or I imagine some of it is going to be a little bit outside of crypto and you have to convert yourselves? How does that work?
Yeah, it's mostly going to be outside of crypto, but we are going to convert it back into crypto, perform buybacks, and create staking pools. And the pools are going to be funded through the revenue of the agency.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And in terms of locations of where you are, sorry for not pronouncing your name correctly at the beginning, by the way. Where are you aiming? Where is it? Is the kind of geographical location global to start, or do you have a particular area that you are starting in and intend to expand into? How's that going to work to find the talent?
Yeah, so we are Belgium based, and we will for sure start out in Belgium, but also the nearby countries. Think of the Netherlands, think of France, Spain, UK. So we believe that European football academies have a tremendous amount of talented players, and our aim is to find the players that are talented but are plateauing. They are struggling to break through. They don't have um, the network, or they don't get the chances, or they are lacking connections, or struggling for some other kind of reason to break through. And we want to help those kind of players, but in particular age 17, 18 to 22, 23, to break through and sign their first professional contract. So we are looking for players without an agent. We take them under our agency, and we give them the full guidance that they need to break through. And as I said, we will start out in Europe, and over the course of time we might be expanding. But for the current time, it's most efficient for us to work within our capacity and within our region, because that would be the most efficient for us, cost efficient, and also in regards the operations.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's very nice to, if someone comes out and says, well, we're going to start globally, but like you say, you need to kind of focus that energy in somewhere in order to grow, right? You need to grow from something. So I think personally, I think that is a sensible approach. In terms of, I like the concept of kind of, because having played football myself, and I know John did as well, and most of the people, at least in the UK, I'm sure Belgium is exactly the same, have played along somewhere. But that next step is often a bit, you don't know where it happens really. Where does it come from? So I think having an opportunity to even increase that exposure of how it can happen, like I've seen you mention kind of trials and things as well. Is that the only, I say the only thing, that's a loaded question. What I mean is, how many different ways do you intend to try and find this talent? Is it going to the local leagues and watching games? Is it going to be a case of having these tournaments, or is it going to be a variety of different things?
So one thing that we did do is build up a scouting team. So we will do our own prospection for sure. We will be watching local tournaments of the first division of the youth academies. Um, within our regions. But besides that, we will be also looking at hosting those tournaments and those trials. We will be advertising those to social media. We will be working with ambassadors to get these people to attract these people towards us. So for us, it will be these events that also will be attracting the players that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's a good way. Like, rather than you always having to go and find people, people kind of turn up on your doorstep as well. It sounds like a very sensible move anyway. And in terms of when you've got the talent, so you found someone, you found the next, I don't know, Haaland, for example. How do you cultivate that? How do you take them to the next step? Like, this is of genuine interest to mine too. It might not be something that's necessarily, it might be business secrets, but how do you gain those connections to where they need to be next? I've seen you mention funding, but I'm assuming there's other things that you need to provide for somebody as well in order to take them to that next step.
Yeah, so that will also be an essential part of our scouting. Actually, we will be looking at players uh, who are possessing a good resume, who have played in good teams during their youth academy, which will be beneficial for both the player and for us to make that transition to a top league with a professional contract. Because that resume, if you look up on transfer markets, for example, it's really important to get your profile up, to get noticed by bigger teams. A resume is really important. But besides that, we will be looking at the physical guidance, nutritional guidance, helping them with their schedules, sleeping, training, from A to Z. We will help these talents to give them the framework that to make sure that they're always on edge. We will give them the mental coaching that they need, and yeah, we will be giving them all these success factors and all of these things while still allowing them to pursue their dream of becoming a professional soccer player or football player at a high level. So we will guide them, we will complement them where needed. We will also have a football player treasury. So we will also be involving the crypto token Rabona in our contracts with signing these players to our agency. So that will also be an important leverage for us, that we can give the players something that other agencies don't do. And yeah, the problem in general that we're going to solve is that professional football players need assistance to make it in the highly competitive football industry. They need to focus, and then they make it. But if there's financial distractions, if there's personal distractions, uh, yeah, you can be talented as much as you want, but if you're not putting in the work and the effort and the dedication to become successful, then it won't happen by itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely, that goes for everything, I think, but particularly, high level athletes. You've seen it, obviously you are a football fan as well, but you see it all the time with someone that you see with all the potential in the world, and for whatever reason, whether money turns their head or otherwise, they don't quite reach that potential. So I think having someone, which I imagine is, you kind of, not community around you, but you circle around you, having help support, whether it's the agency or family, I think is very, very important to these things. I like the addition as well with the token being added to these contracts. I think that's a really cool thing, whether it's giving people it or whether it's them promoting it as part of the deal of the agency. I think that's, again, helps further with that marketing, really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win deal. Uh, we we come to an agreement with the player, but the player at the same time becomes a stakeholder of the agency that they're signed to, and it will motivate them even further to become a proud ambassador of the brand of Rabona.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart idea. I really do think that's a great idea. In terms of the token, so we've gone through a lot of the utility, which there is a lot of it, to be fair. So with staking and whatnot, when do we expect all this to kind of jump into life? Because obviously it doesn't always need utility for a token to explode. I say this quite a lot. Like, even by association, can a token do well? And sometimes even by just not even having association, but just being a great idea, it can do well. But in terms of the utility, that is obviously what you are building up. How long do we expect those kind of voting platforms and staking platforms to take to build?
So as far as our own staking platforms, it will take at least 1 or 2 months to create our own D app, at least. But we will be looking at other alternatives for staking, for example, liquidity providing on the short term. So people can start with staking and using their Rabona token. And the reason for that is because for our own D app, we are also looking to integrate the DAO, the staking, and on top of that, the scouting all together in the D app, so that the community members get a clean overview of what we're working on, what players are being scouted, what players are being signed to the agency. They get an overview of what is being done and where we're progressing towards. They will be able to interact, and we will be able to interact back to the community. So as far as the D app, as far as it comes to the D app, it will take some time to develop that, but we will be looking at staking pools to create on DEXs in the meantime, so people can make use of their Rabona token. And yeah, once the staking pools are coming up, we will announce that. Besides the revenues from the agency, we will also be looking at starting our clothing merch on the shorter term to build up revenues for those staking pools, because we believe on the short term we can capitalize on clothing merch a lot more than on the agency, because as you know, a football season it runs over a whole year. So to get these transfers done, to get these players on board, it will take some time to start getting those revenues for our agency and to fund those staking pools. So on the shorter term, we will be looking at other revenue streams like NFTs, like our clothing merch, to capitalize, to create those staking pools and to give back towards the community for staking.
I think they're incredibly sensible answers. I think that's the right. I like to see that you kind of allowing people to get that staking early, and like you say, the more revenue streams, the better, particularly for an investor, and obviously as a project owner as well. You want to make sure you cover a few bases, and well, as you well know, merchandising within the football market or sports market in general is absolutely ginormous. So if you do manage to crack into that, it could be big money, I suppose. Have you done any, talking about money, have you done any kind of, is there any plan of how much you think an agency can bring? Like obviously you hear of was it George Mendes, I think, which was like the super agent, which earns ridiculous sums of money, but what sort of commission should an investor expect? Expect's the wrong word. I appreciate we're not giving him financial advice here, but what are those returns in terms of 2% of an agency fee? What is a typical agency fee?
Well, a typical agency fee is about 10% commission, and of course it depends on what player you're signing, what team you're bringing him to, what the salary will be that the player will earn. But if we grab some stats, for example, for the Premier League, it's really a billion dollar industry. So for example, only in the Premier League the last summer, and that's only in England, 1.8 billion has been spent towards the 22-23 season. So that's only in the Premier League, and that's only during one summer. And of course, we're gonna look to grow the agency, to get as much players on board as possible, to get proud ambassadors of our brand, to grow, to find the talented people, to convince them to choose for us as an agency. And yeah, it's a long-term goal that we have, but if we or when we manage to capitalize on it with the right strategy, with the right infrastructure, it's really a huge billion-dollar industry that we're tapping into, and those revenues will be streamlined back to the community.
Yeah, I like that. External revenue systems are, well, I think they're fantastic. I am biased, obviously, with our own project, but I think it's the way that you keep that token moving. Because, like we said before,
sure,
as we know, there's lots of tokens which have zero utility or zero external revenue streams, and they can still do amazing. But then if you add that extra little bump on top of it, then obviously that's the thing that I think could, you could have a big first month, then it has a little dip, but then as soon as your agency starts to pop off again, you can have that extra rise again. It can actually, excuse my terminology, I don't mean it like this, but if the token was to fall down in price, it can recover even by just external means rather than just having to market the token left, right, and center, which I think is a very beneficial thing to holders, actually.
Yeah, of course, and that's initially it's also what investors are looking for a return on their investment, and the return on investment should not only be relying on new investors coming in and buying at a higher price. It should be dependent on the company's capacity to become profitable and to grow and to make new partnerships and to expand itself.
I absolutely agree. I see other people are struggling to join, by the way, so apologies about that. But we've got it all
No
recorded,
worries,
so anyone that needs to listen to it later, we'll have the recording for you. So I'm just having a look now, a little plug, but we've gone to PresaleWorld to have a look. It says, just to be clear, everybody, it says there's one possible low-grade security issue. That's actually nonsense. Sometimes the automatic contract checker picks things up which aren't a case. It says the tax can be modified, but the reason it says that is because there is a function that would usually modify, but it actually sets it at 0%. So from what I can see, reading the audit, actually looking at that, it's a 0% contract and it can't be changed from 0%. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So initially we had another contract, but based on the feedback we got from the community, a lot of people asked us to stay away from the taxes, to make the taxes as low as possible. And since we do have other income streams, we will just leave out those taxes. I mean, we ourselves, we are looking to set up our company in Dubai because it's zero taxes. I mean, who doesn't like 0% taxes? So we chose for our community to do the same thing, to just leave it at 0% tax. And I think it will be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, low taxes are definitely the way forward. I think kind of if you go back 9 months ago, it was 15% taxes and 20% taxes, but people have kind of swayed away from those now, and they do like the 0% or 5% and lower. Obviously, from a personal opinion, again, no financial advice, it's important to know if the company itself has those external revenue streams, because otherwise a 0% tax means nothing. But obviously in this case, that the whole purpose is not necessarily making income from the token, but making income from the agency, and help that token kind of helps market it as well, basically.
Exactly.
So you've done, you've got about just over a day left in the fair launch. Amazing so far. So a 200 BNB soft cap, which has been hit. You're on 265 BNB from what I can see, which is great. As we know with these things, they tend to hit off in the last 3 hours. It tends to be honest. So let's see what happens there. So with the tokens that you have that you're going to have available at launch, and with the BNB that you're going to raise, where is the first place that you're going to use that? Where's the first marketing or partnership? Where do you intend to put that money to?
So we have been already using our resources. We have partnered up with about 20 to 30 or actually more than 30 Telegram groups. And besides that, also a lot of Twitter influencers. We have been testing a lot of things with Twitter, and a few of those, our favorites, the best performers, we will get on board. We will also look to get even bigger influencers on board, because we believe that consistent marketing will be key to spread the word about what we're doing. We can build the best agency that we want, but if people don't find out about this or don't hear about us, it will be hard to reach our target audience. An example that I would like to give of a football ambassador that we got on board is Wanda Nara. She's the wife of Icardi. Are you familiar with Icardi?
Yeah, I know Icardi. He's Argentinian, I believe, isn't he? All right.
Yeah, yeah. And Wanda Nara is his wife, also his agent. She's also Argentinian. She's actually the most famous woman in Argentina right now. and she just gave us a huge shout out on Instagram a few days ago when our pre-sale kicked off. And
Absolutely fantastic.
yeah, that was nice to see, and we will partner up with more people like her in the football industry, in the crypto industry. We will partner up with whoever fits the partnership, and we will be looking at various possibilities. We will be looking at win-win collaborations where we both the agency and the players and the ambassadors move forward together. And I also just shared some files or some messages with you in the chat. Um, and
Yeah, in the chats for Rabona itself. You still there, Trigger?
I'm still here. Um, just give me a moment because I sent them to John.
Yeah, John, get on it, mate.
No worries, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll share them in the group.
These are just a few examples uh, because if I send you all of them, it would be a long list. Um,
Well, while we're doing that, while that is ongoing, like I say, everybody, the audit, if you actually look through it, I appreciate Presale does these automatic checks, which it has highlighted there is a change tax function, but like I said, it actually doesn't let you set the tax higher than 0%, and it is 0%. So the contract checks has been a bit eager, if you like, but the whole point of these things anyway are to make sure you do some research, and if you go in and ask Joga or anyone else in there, they'll be able to tell you exactly what it is. So, encouraged to do your research in that sense. So KYC doxed as well. You got a docs video, I see.
yeah, exactly. Our CEO is doxed. Can also send you a picture of our CEO together with Lukaku.
Oh, Lukaku as well. Nice. Being in Belgium, of course. Yeah, feel free to send me those. You don't have to send them me this second, but I will share them in the group as soon as we get them.
Yes, I sent them.
You sent them now. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, so I sent Icardi's wife when she was mentioning us in on our story on Instagram, and then I sent our CEO together with Lukaku.
That's great. I'm going to forward them now. I can see them. While I am forwarding them to the group, I think I've asked the questions without taking all the community questions away from them. But if there's anything you can think of that we haven't mentioned and you want to highlight, please take this time to do so.
Yeah, so something that I should also mention, which is really important, is that we're going to implement NFTs for our football players by turning their image rights into an NFT. So we will be handling some of our players, the ones who agree to this kind of cooperation. We will be handling their image rights through NFT, so their sponsorship deals and such things. We want to experiment with that and see what we can get out of it. It's something that never has been done, but yeah, we are very curious about what we can reach with that.
That's really nice to see. Obviously, we're all crypto investors here, or at least crypto enthusiasts. So to know that we can expand blockchain technology into other fields rather than just transactions of wealth or transactions of worth, if you like, and store of value. Transaction of value is what I should have said. That's absolutely perfect, and that's what I personally love to see, because the more that happens, the more it spreads, and then we all benefit from that at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But what we'll do from here, like I say, I think we've covered especially what you guys are doing, and like I say, the soft cap is already being reached. There's about a day left, so make sure you go and check out the links on the in PresaleWorld. But let's open the floor up to any questions that people may have. I've had a couple come through privately as well, so I can ask those if no one wants to speak. And there's no hands up at the minute, so let's just open this message. Give me a second. Any questions from yourself, by the way, John, while you're here?
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Loud and
No.
clear.
Hi, mate. How are you? How are you doing?
Doing great, Sean. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. It's been really good and something that I'm actually really, really interested in. As Ant said, we're from the UK. I think it's quite natural to be very big into the football, and it's as Ant said, it's something I've never heard. The concept of it being decentralized and mixed in with crypto, I think it's a brilliant idea. And I think it opens up a lot of possibilities, like you're saying, and to be able to get into the grassroots and find this talent and be able to nurture them through and not rush their whole journey in their career in the football. Because as mentioned, far too many players get greedy, too big, too fast, and it seems that you guys are very, very honed in on that and know what you want to be doing to be able to push the talent in the right direction. I absolutely love that.
So I've
Yeah,
got a
exactly.
couple of
As you
questions here.
said,
Sorry to interrupt to that, but I've got
no
a few
worries.
questions, but they all seem to have been answered already. I'll ask another one again just because it's kind of the way it is. But one of them is the roadmap mentions a 20% private sale. Has this been done, and how much did it raise?
Yeah, so the percentage for the private sale is not exactly 20%. We just set that amount of tokens aside to surely have enough to airdrop the private sale participants. It will be more so in between 10 to 15%. Well, depending on how much we raise during the fair launch, of course, we will then know the exact amount that the private sale gets airdropped. But just to have enough of a margin, we decided to reserve that 20% for private sale investors, and the rest will go to advisory and to partnerships. And during that private sale, we managed to raise 750 BNB in the course of about 2 hours, approximately.
Wow, that is incredible. Like, it definitely gives a bit of runway to get this agency off the ground then.
Yeah, for sure. And it's needed because we do have some overhead costs with human resources, with marketing, with development of our application. So that's why we also decided to hold that private round. It also gave us the opportunity to see how much interest we would get for the idea and what we could get out of it.
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously, as a project owner myself, I think investors sometimes fail to realize that it costs a lot of money. Like yourself, even if you just go across Twitter and Telegram influencers, it costs a lot of money. So there has to be some kind of financial backing behind it. Sometimes a private sale, sometimes it's funded from people's pockets, but somewhere there has to be money made, in order to finance these things. So I don't think that's unusual, and it shows the demand, if anything, raising 750 BNB. We do have a question in the group as well, so I'm going to unmute. Hello, Edit.
Hi, good evening. What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, very good, my man. Ask away if you've got a question.
Yeah, I have a question. My question is regarding the staking. With 30% of the total supply allocated to the staking, what if majority of the investors decide to stake their?
Well, I think you just cut off a little bit while you were saying. So if the majority of investors choose to stake.
Yeah, you choose to stake their tokens, and then eventually the project runs out of the 30% of the tokens. So, what will be the team's strategy or team's plan to, keep the staking pool running to sustain the staking pool? Will they consider reducing the rewards, or do they have any backup plans?
Yeah, so for sure, regarding the rewards of the staking pool, we will be creating good schedules so that we don't allocate too much rewards towards staking once at a time or once at a time, so that we don't run out of ecosystem staking pool rewards. But besides that, we're also going to provide buybacks and BNB staking pools, So as mentioned before, the staking pools will not just be based out of thin air, but it will be actual backed tokens from our agency's revenue. And yeah, the ecosystem staking tokens are reserved for the staking pools, but it's not that they will just be put into a pool and staked away or claimed by all the investors at all once at a time. So it will be a clear schedule that we set. It will be well calculated to make sure that we create a good reason to stake and to engage with the pools, but at the same time, it should be efficient for us, and it should be a win-win situation both for the investors and for the ecosystem in general, so that we don't create too much of an inflation in the token or in the circulating supply, so that the staking rewards don't make the market price crash. So we will always look at keeping the price stable in comparison to the rewards that we are giving away during the staking.
That's awesome. And also my last question, majority of the project, what they do is they only audit the token contract without also auditing the staking contract. So to ensure safety for whosoever that will using the staking platform, will the token contract be also audited?
Yeah, I think that's really important, and that's a great question that you're answering, especially with so many staking pools being exploited and drained, and protocols being hacked. We will surely perform an audit for our platform also, just to make sure that everything is working properly, everything is working how it's supposed to work, and that there's no chance for exploits or minimizing the chance for exploit.
Great questions there. I
Awesome,
like both of them.
Yeah, thank
Fantastic
you.
questions. And I think just to go on the first point as well, we did speak about it earlier, but with that staking pool, I think it's a great idea to not just limit it to Rabona tokens, although that is nice and people want to increase it, of course, to have it available in other forms, whether it be USDT. Obviously, if inflation for whatever reason did get out of hand, then you've always got that to fall back on, which I think is a great idea.
Exactly.
So any more questions? I did see a couple of hands up, but they seem to have gone down. So any more questions at all? The questions I have already been answered, really, in terms of in the group. Things like what age of players you're looking at. I believe you said kind of 16, 17, 18. Is that correct?
Yeah, up to 22, 23. So we are really looking for players that are ready to make the transition to the first team, to their professional contract.
Cool. Has any marketing been done? Well, have a look in PresaleWorld. You can see a couple of bits already, as well as all these AMAs that everyone's performing. I suppose one that we kind of touched on, but not entirely, is how the token is planned to be marketed after pre-sale. I know you've got partnerships. I know you've got a few AMAs, but what's kind of the grand plan of marketing it?
Yeah, so we're going to spread it over a couple of periods. So the first campaign that we will be having after our fair launch campaign is the Pancake Swap launch campaign. Then we will also be having a CX launch campaign. And in general, we will just be partnering up with people on Twitter, on Telegram, on a regular basis, host such things as AMAs. We will be advertising on different crypto platforms. For example, as you can see right now, we're advertising on PooCoin. We're advertising on CN token. So those are working really well for us. So we will scale those. We will also be looking at different platforms like DEX tools, CoinGecko. Whatever works well for us will be scaled. Then besides that, we're just going to market on a regular basis, be active, have a lot of tournaments, have a lot of engagement activities for our community, have a lot of shilling activities for our community. The real world aspect will also be branded. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it yet, but we are going to have our own clothing line that will also be advertised. Also another revenue stream of ours. Next to the clothing line, we will also connect that with the brand ambassadors and the players that we sign. So we will get to represent our players, to represent our agency, but also our clothing brand. The same for the ambassadors. They're going to represent and the agency and the brand and the scouting. So it will all of the different utilities that we do have in our project, in our organization, will be represented, and we will do that on a consistent basis. We will use our resources strategically, and especially during the World Cup or moving towards the World Cup, we will double down on what we're doing. So we will put all the energy that's needed into spreading the word about Rabona, and slowly but surely we will expand and we will grow.
Great answers. Great answers. Well, I haven't got any more messages coming in. So if there are any more questions, please do head over to their Telegram. I've actually put in the Telegram of the channel rather than the group, so we'll make sure we add that in as well. I think it's just /Rabona Pro, if that's correct. So yeah, like I say, make sure you join. Make sure you keep an eye on this the fair launch, because it's doing incredibly already. Like I say, 260-ish BNB, yeah, 265. Over a day to go, and with fair launches, the common trend tends to be the last 3 hours, particularly the last hour, actually, of where the main amount of funds are raised. So keep an eye on it. You can track it, obviously directly through the link. Go to PresaleWorld, whichever way you fancy it. But you've been absolutely fantastic. It's been very interesting, to be honest. It's nice to get new concepts through and to talk about them. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
you guys were also amazing, John, and thanks for having us. And something I did forget to mention about our giveaway that we are hosting right now for a lot of people, pre-sales that you've been seeing recently. You have seen a lot of buying competitions, and we are also hosting a buying competition. So for the people who are interested in participating in our pre-sale, to the investors that are participating, we are giving away some football-related rewards. We are giving away one all-inclusive trip to go and watch the World Cup. We are giving away one PS5 with FIFA 23 included, and we are also giving away several football kits. So people can choose their favorite team, and we reward the football kit. So those winners will be randomly chosen. I will share the content of this giveaway, and for whoever is interested, it will be raffled, and you get a chance at a lot of rewards. And we believe that it's something nice that we can give back to the community, because a lot of people, they would invest 25 BNB into a project, but they would not invest 25 BNB or spend 25 BNB to go and watch the World Cup.
That's very true. Actually, it's funny how when you talk about things in terms of BNB versus actual pounds or dollars, people have a very different viewpoint on them. Yeah, I love that idea as well. I think keeping it relevant to the subject matter is especially important. And being a football fan myself, going to the World Cup will be a wonderful thing, and having the opportunity is great.
Yeah,
I would like to also add to that. The giveaway sounds amazing, but I'm certainly going to be following you, and we're actually adding to our platform something that can a space where you can track from pre-sale to launch, that in between stage. And your project is one of the reasons why that is being built, so to speak, because of tracking something like this that has the potential and the legs to grow over time. It'd be great to have you back and have another AMA at some point. Actually, I'm really interested to see where this is going with you guys. I think you've got something really good here.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to.
Yeah, absolutely agree with everything that's been said, and you came across very well. So all the best to everything. And like I say, make sure you check the links, guys. We'll add some in there as well. But if we wrap it up there for today, let you get back, because obviously it's late in Belgium, and I'm sure you've got a million more things to do today as well. So I'll leave it with you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for listening. Everyone is welcome to join our community. We can have a chat right there. All our moderators and our team members are active in the chat, and we will gladly answer all your questions. And yeah, everyone is welcome. All the crypto lovers, football lovers, or lovers of both.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. We're going to stay on the line just to kind of announce winners. We will field a couple of questions about PresaleWorld as well. Don't feel like you have to stay, Shogo. You know, get back to what you need to do. We'll share the recording with you and a few other things too. But thank you once again.